Hello, I'm Menelik Akani. I am the knife sharpener and sharpening teacher for Blend and Forge, and formerly knife sharpener and sharpening teacher for Kitchen Provisions. More recently, I'm now a blacksmith selling my own knives and soon to be also African weapons, including spears, things like that. So today we're just doing a very basic video on a foolproof way to sharpen your knife using these whetstones. You can use this same technique for your coarse stone, your medium stone and your fine stone, but today we're just going to focus on the medium stone and just focus on getting the knife from dull to sharp. Okay, so I've got one of the knives that I made that didn't quite make the batch here to demonstrate on. So this is a dull knife and we're just going to see how it cuts, if it cuts. And you can see that the knife is pushing the paper away instead of biting into it. So we have a dull knife. It's also pretty safe to do that with. So let's get it doing the opposite. So every knife you buy is going to have this thin line across the entire length. That's your secondary bevel. That's what you're sharpening for basic sharpening. So the index high on the spine, thumb on the collar of the blade. We're going to work the blade in 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. There are some subtleties to this that I'll explain in further videos, but for now we're focusing on the basics. So I'm feeling for what we're creating, which is called the burr, and that's spelled B-U-R-R. It's this rough fold of steel that will be created on the side you're not sharpening. That only happens when you've thinned down both or one side of the edge enough that there's nothing in between those sides. Once you create that, you've essentially done the hard part of sharpening, and then it obstructs the edge and you only need to remove it. So we've created the burr. Now I'm going to remove it on this side. Working the blade in a third, and I'm doing fairly light strokes here. Now, whether you've stopped there and you're going to finish, or you've gone up to the fine stone to make the most of its sharpness. But for this instance, we're just going to finish on the 1000 grit, which leaves a very resistant, hardy edge. So I find the side that still has some burr, and I'm going to strop it. This is a suede strop. Feeling that it's completely smooth. And I'll do the same on this side. And now evenly dealing with both sides. Pressure getting lighter as I continue. So both sides are smooth, which means the center is sharp. So now let's see how it cuts. And not just that it cuts, but how it cuts. So that's a night and day difference to before we sharpened it. And we could take that up further on a fine stone, but that's really the basics. So taking a dull knife to sharp, now I'm going to show you with this knife how that burr forms, because you can't see it with your eyes most of the time when you're doing the sharpening. So on a coarse belt, it should become visible. So pay attention to the very edge of the blade where that meets the belt, or for your case, the stone. That's where the burr is going to develop on the side not being ground, not being worn away. So with this belt, because it's so coarse, we can see the burr here. you're going to have to feel that because it's more subtle on the stone. Okay, so that was a very basic sharpening video. And for more of my work, follow me on Instagram at Menela Kakani. In the not too distant future, there will be a website where you can buy and you can see some of my other work, my kitchen knives, my weapons for martial arts, and there will also be some more in-depth sharpening videos on everything that I've learned up to this point.